This worked example compares simple versus compound interest for a savings account over 10 years. So I've entered here an initial deposit of $25,000 and an interest rate of 5%. So this is pretty optimistic. So I'm going to, for each year that we save, I want to figure out how much interest we're going to earn and what the balance will be. And I'm going to do that for both simple and compound interest. So I'm going to just copy this, paste it over here. We want to do this over 10 years. And we can do the autofill if we enter the first two values and drag down the column. It'll fill in the, it'll determine the sequence and fill in the values for us. So there we have 1 through 10. And then for simple interest, the interest is always going to be based on the initial deposit. So it's just going to be the 25,000. We're going to use absolute addressing here. Function of 4 times the interest rate. And then we'll just copy that down the column because the interest is always the same with simple interest. It doesn't matter what the balance on the account is. So each year, the balance of the account, it starts out referring to the initial deposit plus the interest for that year. And then each year of the following years, we're just going to take the previous balance plus the interest. So if we copy that down the column, we see that our final value is going to be $37,500. Compound interest, on the other hand, earns interest on the interest. So over 10 years here, each year, instead of calculating the interest on the initial balance, we're going to calculate it on the current balance. So the first time we'll calculate it on the initial balance, so it's the 25,000 times the interest rate. We're not going to be copying this down the column, so I'm not going to use absolute addressing here. And then the balance will just be the initial deposit plus the interest. But then after that, every time we calculate the interest, it's going to be the interest rate, absolute value, times the current balance. And then just like before, our new balance will be the previous balance plus the interest. So then if we copy both of those cells down the columns, we see that every year we're earning more interest because the interest is based on the previous balance. So the difference is over 10 years we'll end up with $40,000 versus $37,000. So that compares compound and simple interest.